I'm retained by several billion-dollar companies in Japan to predict market changes.
You have an MBA, do you?
No, I'm a psychic.
There's money in that, is there?
I earned over 7 figures last year. My typical fee is $5,000 an hour.
You're kidding. That's more than a transplant surgeon.
My clients have earned hundreds of millions based on my predictions.
Give us an example, please.
I advised one client to invest heavily in mobile phones. Another shorted Enron shares 2 years prior to the fiasco.
Could it be you just got lucky?
Not according to the scientists at a leading university who have tested me repeatedly.
What specifically were the results of that testing?
Brain scans showed in my right temporal lobe were particularly active.
So I can assume that the companies that paid you this 7-figure income are doing just fine despite the current global recession?
I wouldn't really know.
It just so happens I do. You indicated on your tax return that Hayashi Inc. paid you $300,000 last year. The Wall Street Journal says its sales are off 50%. Yoshi Industries paid you $200,000 and its year-end showed a loss of nearly $500 million. I guess your temporal lobe was off that day? Forgive me, Mr. Harrison, but what leading university was it that performed these tests?
The Institute of Parapsychology in Taos, New Mexico.
New Mexico. That's where the aliens landed, isn't it? Objection.
I'll have you know that the University of Arizona also conducted tests that are persuasive in establishing the survival of consciousness after death.
Kind of like Ghostbusters.
Why must you mock what you can't understand?
Because if someone like you could really predict the future, that pretty much negates the concept of free will.
Just because you don't see something, Mr. McCoy, doesn't mean it isn't there.
It doesn't mean it is either.